Moving on to more local news, the controversial transfer of the HQI of Kahawatha Police has been cancelled. Police media spokesperson SSP Prashantha Jayakodi stated at a media briefing today that the IGP had made this decision following requests made by the area residents.
Security has been tightened in the Kahawatha area. 37 policemen have been deployed at the police checkpoint. In addition, a special task force camp with 70 personnel has also been established in the area. The suspects connected to the 13 crimes that took place in the recent past have been produced before court. Views were expressed regarding the transfer of the HQI of the Kahawatha police at today's media briefing. Even after he was appointed, there were 2 crimes that took place. We want someone who can solve these crimes immediately, because if not, the people will develop some sort of fear. However, he is one of the best officers we have. Meanwhile, journalists also questioned Minister WDJ Senviratna on the murders in Kahawatha. The suspect in the double murder is a former coordinator who worked under you. It was revealed that his brother was a drug dealer in the area. It is believed that the murders were drug related. Wasn't the background check done before recruiting such a person as your coordinator? Has it not left a black mark on you as well? If there was a drug racket, I would have got to know about it. If I had known about it, I would have taken the necessary action. But there was no drug racket. There are no drugs in Kahawatha. It is true that Dharmasri worked as a coordinator for me for a long period, but I cannot control what his brother does at home. How can I control what his brother does?
Murders reported from the Kahawatha area from time to time. 31st October 2011. Most recent killing reported from the Warapitiya area in Kahawatha. The body of DB Chandravati discovered with laceration wounds. The perpetrators still at large. Investigations underway to apprehend the perpetrators. Shouldn't more attention be paid to rid Kahawatha of the prevailing fear psychosis?
UMP Deputy Leader Sajid Premadasa says that an injustice has been done to the low-income families in the country through the 2013 budget.
This budget has discarded the progressive tax regime and has imposed taxes on all citizens equally, causing a serious injustice to the small man by indirectly hitting him in the stomach. The government has successfully managed to reduce the deficit as a percentage of GDP. But how has it done this? The sum of the relief has not been increased. The fertilizer subsidy has not been increased. People who are affected by the drought have received very little. The Mahapolo scholarship has not been increased. Public sector wages have not been increased. They have simply provided a small allowance. Arrears in teacher salaries have not been resolved. Arrears in pension payments have not been resolved. The free lunch that was provided by the UNP government has been cut back today.
සොච්චන් දීමනාවක් විතරක් ලබා දීලා තිබෙනවා. ගුරු වැටුප් විෂමතා විසඳලා නැහැ. විශ්‍රාම වැටුප් විෂමතා විසඳලා නැහැ. එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂ ආණ්ඩුව තුලින් ලබා දුන්නු ඒ නොමිලේ දිවාහාරය අද කප්පාදු කරලා.
Meanwhile, MP Ravi Karunanayaka raised questions in Parliament today on the Sri Lanka Export Credit Insurance Corporation.
Honourable Minister, my first question is that SLASIC was incorporated by then Mr. Lalit Athuratmudali to ensure that countries that don't exist in normal exporting terms are given comfort factor. But this SLASIC doesn't seem to be giving comfort factor to the areas where certain Sri Lankan exporters can export without fear. Countries like Iran, Iraq, Russia, SLASIC does not take any insurance covers for this type of thing. So would this ministry please help the exporters, the corridor exporters that want to export to this country, but owing to the fact that the exporting conducive climate is non-prevalent in those countries, this doesn't exist. So could you please ensure that the very motive of bringing SLASIC into existence is brought into play at this moment?
as you know, most of these countries are going towards setting up import-export banks. So I'm only confirming what you said, that we have to look at those instruments and create new instruments which will help exporters as well as investors, because our policy is to allow our blue chip companies and our good investors to go and invest in other countries as well. So there is no contradiction.
In more news from the Parliament today, the ruling alliance warned UMP leader Ranil Wickremesinghe today that he could face a rebellion from within his own party if he does not act patiently until the 1st of December. Chief Government Whip Minister Dinesh Gunawardena stated that the people defeated the UMP for the 24th time because of its wrong policies.
වැරදි ප්‍රතිපත්ති වෙනස් කරන්න එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති වැරදි එක්සත් ජාතික
The policies of the UNP are wrong. They should be changed. The people have defeated the UNP for the 24th time because of this. Come up with new policies. Opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe was agitated today. Why should he get agitated if he is conducting discussions with us? I need to tell him that he should act patiently till the 1st of December, or else he risks facing a rebellion from within his own party.
දෙසැම්බර් පළවෙනිදා වෙනකන් ඉවසීමෙන් වැඩ කරන්න නැත්නම් ඇතුළෙම කරල්ලා රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහතාට උදා වෙනවා.
නිවැරදි විධිමත් කතිකාවක් නැතුව ව්‍යවස්ථා සංශෝධන මණ්ඩලයක් පිහිටවන්නේ.
Without having a debate on the constitutional changes and without forming a board for this purpose, they are attempting to bring in an amendment to extend the leadership to 6 years. This is being done at a time when the party members in the country have stated that the constitution should not be changed. Everything has been turned upside down since 1994. Who is calling on Ranil Wickremesinghe to remain as the party leader? There is no justification for this move. We would have also raised our hands if he at least won one provincial council. He should categorically and unconditionally state that the convention is not being held to extend his tenure. Dear leader, please act in a democratic manner and respect the party constitution.
මගේ කාලේ දූර්ග කරගෙන නෙමෙයි ඒකින්ද නායකතුමනි කරුණා කරලා ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී වෙන්න කරුණා කරලා ව්‍යවස්ථාදායකයට ගරු කරන්න පක්ෂ ව්‍යවස්ථාවට ගරු කරන්න.
In other local news, the organization to unite the country through power sharing convened a media briefing in Colombo today. Several representatives of the organization expressed their views at this media briefing.
We approve going beyond the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. This should be done because the 13th Amendment has not fulfilled the need to unite the people. Therefore, if, as has been pointed out by the LLRC, we go beyond this in devolving power, then it is most suitable.
They said that the Lessons Learned and Reconciliation Commission had prepared a huge report. They promised them that this was their political Bible, their political Quran, their political Bhagavad Gita and Dhammapada. It is okay if they go beyond this. Real reconciliation is the unity of all people, be they Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim or Catholic. It is not dividing them or breaking them apart. Provincial councils were introduced in 87 and at first the buses were set on fire. Later the system became good and everyone clamoured to get in. Then the SLFP did not want to abrogate the 13th Amendment. The two extremists in the government, Vimal Veeravansa and Champika Ranawaka, are now saying that if elections are held in the north, it will fall into the hands of extremists.
TNA parliamentarian N.A. Saravana Bhavan, speaking in Parliament yesterday, said that there is a suspicion amongst the Tamil people as to whether the government of India is behind calls for abolishing the 13th Amendment.
The 13th Amendment was brought with the support, the blessings and the instigation of the central government of India. When the ministers belonging to the Sri Lankan government speak of immediate withdrawal of the 13th Amendment, the Indian government has a discreet silence over this issue. Such a silence makes Tamils have the hunch that it is India which is behind this move also. It is suspicion which nobody can claim unfair or unreasonable because the Tamils have an excruciating experience of what India did.
Meanwhile, nearly 1,000 students from the Jinaraja Mahavidyalaya in Gampala had to be rushed to hospital this morning due to an allergic reaction. Now, the director of the Gampala Teaching Hospital said that around 135 students are receiving in-house treatment at the hospital.
Symptoms of the allergic reaction had been noticed when the students were returning to their classrooms following the morning assembly. Thereafter, the affected students had been rushed to the Gampala Teaching Hospital. Our correspondent stated that following the incident, the remaining students were evacuated from the school premises and sent to the Viguluwatta ground in Gampala.
From what we understand, this is not food poisoning. It may have been transmitted by the wind because the main symptom is itchiness.
When we made inquiries from the medical health officer in charge of the Upper Gampala area, she stated that a few days ago as well, several students in a classroom of the same school had shown symptoms of a similar allergic reaction. We think this is an allergy spread by an insect or dust. Therefore, we cleaned and sprayed Bretex to the classrooms and the ground. Our correspondent stated that following the incident, the school will be closed until Monday. Meanwhile, the Central Province Health Service Department has deployed a special medical team to look into the matter. The allergy has been controlled by administering medicine. By Monday, education activities will be back to normal.